PMDD shaped my life for 17 years before I could name it. I spent those years searching for answers, questioning my sanity, and desperately seeking treatments that actually worked. My painful journey had an unexpected twist. Helping others heal from PMDD became my life's purpose. Hi, I'm Jess, a board-certified nutritional therapist, coach, the founder of Her Mood Mentor, and your host. This is PMDD Pep Talk, a weekly reminder that your suffering is real, your experience is valid, and your future is brighter than your symptoms suggest. Each week, we're going to explore the truths about PMDD that nobody talks about. The kind of truths that shift something deep inside you and make you think, maybe there's more possible than I imagined. Whether you're in the depths of luteal darkness or riding the clarity of your follicular phase, you're exactly where you need to be. Because here's what I know for sure. Healing PMDD isn't just about managing symptoms, it's about transforming your life. This challenge, as brutal as it can be, is an invitation to know yourself more deeply and live a more joyful, purpose-filled life. PMDD might feel like your whole story, but it's just a chapter, and you get to write what comes next. Welcome to PMDD Pep Talk. Quick pep talk pause. Remember that everything we talk about here is meant to educate and inspire. Always team up with your healthcare provider for personal medical advice. All right, now let's get into it. Hello, this is Jess with Her Mood Mentor, and today I'm meeting with one of our PMDD rehab students and one-to-one clients, Jamie. Hi, Jamie. Thanks for being here.
Hi, Jess. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm so excited to chat with you today. We're really curious to hear your PMDD story, kind of what happened as you went through our program, and just to understand more about how PMDD has impacted your life in the past and how it's impacting your life now. So thanks for being here and sharing with us. Yay. Okay, so let's just get into it. I would love to hear more about the beginning, when you realized that the symptoms were PMDD, what symptoms you were experiencing, how they were impacting your quality of life. And that's a lot of questions, so I can come back and circle around.
Okay, well, I'll just start. Sorry if I get emotional. It was a long journey. But going back, I was at rock bottom. Like, my story started when I was younger and going through college. I was single, alone, you manage. Like, I'm tired, I pass out somewhere on the couch, or, you're not really seen as much. So I kind of just skated by. I was about 23 when I got married, and so everything just started to magnify when somebody's looking into your world, because your world's normal until somebody else comes in and tells you it's not. And so that was really hard. That was the first time I was like, wow, somebody's picking me apart, and this is not normal for me, because I loved who I was at the moment. I worked on myself a lot, so for somebody to pick at me in that way was hurtful. And then I went through a lot. My mom was passing away, so a lot of that got put on the side. But after she passed away and things got normal, I went on birth control to try to work on it. That was a disaster. I did not like that. I did not like what came with it. So I told them that, and then I went on to, I think it was some other medication that they told me to take 2 weeks before my period to kind of help it out, because I wasn't depressed. I didn't have issues. It was literally certain times of the month. So that's how they knew. Because I wasn't it was such a different shift in who I was. And so I got on medication. I stayed on that for a while just to maintain. I was in a hard relationship. I had death in my family. So I just did. And then I got pregnant, got off of it. And then weird thing is, when I was breastfeeding, I had no symptoms. So, it's like your body's doing different things. I knew it wasn't depression or anything somebody could tell me I had, because it was certain times, different phases of life. And so anyways, after that, I ended up getting divorced, getting back to myself, got off everything, and learned to manage again. And then got in new relationships and got picked apart again. And so I think that I wanted to discover who I was and that I was okay. And so in the midst of being in a bad spot where somebody wanted me to keep up with them every step of the way, and I have different needs. I need to slow down at points. I can't be on the go all the time, and somebody didn't respect that. So I had to learn that that's okay for me to have boundaries. And coming into you is when I was at my lowest, when I wasn't accepting those for myself. And so when I got there, to you, I was at rock bottom. Somebody was telling me that I had problems, that I had issues, and to buckle up, cowgirl, and move on, and bully it out of me. So I came to you at rock bottom, ready to kind of figure out who I was and stand behind who I was and love who I was and manage it, not only for myself, but for my kids and nobody else at that point. Um, and so that's where I came to you, was just like, I need to know who I am. And I need to know that when I do go around other people or other people see into my life, that it's not something to hide or be sad about, but it's just what I go through, and that I can balance it and I can be proud of it, and um, just respect myself and find myself to be perfectly a mess, but in a happy way. So that's where I came, and where I ended was so different. But I know there's probably going to be questions in between, but it was a hot mess when I came to. I think I cried the whole session. And you're like, it's okay. We have lots to work. There's lots of things we can do.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you had been through so much. I mean, honestly, decades
Yeah.
of these symptoms, trying to figure out what it was, getting treated for it, experiencing relationship fallout, trying to navigate that through parenting your first and second child, huge life transitions, losing, you know, one of the people closest to you. Like, so much was on your plate that you had been dealing with for so long. And I'm wondering, like, there was so much there, but what were some of the symptoms that were continually reoccurring that were really getting in the way of those relationships, of your parenting, of your life?
A lot of it was sleep, like just like exhaustion, and not like I ran 6 miles, I'm tired, or I worked all day tired, like exhausted. And I struggled that when I was younger too. My mom would joke around and put chairs on the couch because I would just pass out there and stay till the morning, and she'd wake up and be like, why are you in here still? Like, just exhausted, where I just pass out places. Um, and so that's probably one of my biggest struggles, especially with kids, because I'm trying to like watch them, but then I just want to pass out places. It's like just exhausted. And I didn't have that managed because I would fight it. And then it would get worse and worse. And then the grumpiness would come on. And then I would just be edgy. So because I wasn't sleeping, then I would snap. And I didn't like who I was, because I'm like, I am so patient all the other time, but because I'm not treating my sleep problems, I am now being grumpy, like, and then I'm snapping at my children who do not deserve it, and then I'm having to go back and apologize constantly because I don't want that to be an okay thing. And so lack of sleep was, I think, just or just the guilt too, guilt of all this, guilt of needing sleep, guilt of being called lazy. So I think my main symptoms were just being so exhausted that I was in tears or snapping at people. Um, and then working with you, figured out there's a lot of reasons for lots of that, especially diet, exercise. I'm missing a lot of supplements. You know what I mean? Just a lot. There's so many things that could have worked on. I need to work on, but the amount of exhaustion my body like carried was wild. And then also too, one other thing was just my memory goes wild. Like the other day, I still struggle with it quite a bit. I kept losing my water bottle everywhere. Like I lost it again. I lost it again. Like I just not with it sometimes. So those are my three main symptoms: is sleep, grumpiness, and like memory loss.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, it really starts to compound after a few poor nights of sleep and that exhaustion. And like you said, we saw so many nutrient factors behind that, driving that heavy metal load, lots of things. But we kind of talked about how these symptoms impacted your life overall, like the relationship impact, the parenting impact, but anything else you want to add to that? Maybe, a little bit more around how all of that guilt and shame that you carry is just another exhausting, energetic suck.
This brings you down to feeling like you're not good enough, and but like it almost puts you in a depressive state, right? Because you're so exhausted, you're not taking care of yourself. Then you're mad at yourself for needing that sleep, and then people are sucking. They have so many needs. You just feel like they're sucking everything out of you, and like you're no longer important, right? Like I feel like my life and my body is to give to everybody else, and I'm not important. What they can take from me is what's important, and I'm not giving enough for everybody. And so to switch that mindset and to realize I'm important, and if I'm not taken care of, I can't give what I should be giving to my family and my friends. So that's a huge turnaround for me, because I never made time to exercise because I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that, and I need to clean and I need to do that. But it's like, once your happiness is important and your needs are met, you can do it easier. You could do it with more energy. You could do it with happiness. It's not like, I'm going to die if I have to do one more thing, or don't ask me, it's like, no, I have the energy and the capability to do it because I rested when my body asked for it. And I've been working on my health and my exercise. So I have more to give.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in such a happier light. You're not, you're important. And I'm important. I run a house and I have kids and I manage everything. And like, I need to understand how important that person in that role is. And so I think when I started with you just slowing down, deciding what's important, you went through, what is the most important things in your world? We went on a list, and okay, how are we going to make sure that we make your life goals fit that? And how are we going to program your needs to make sure those are all in line and that you're happy with those? So that was super helpful. And it really just puts you in perspective. Like, okay, I do have things that are important, and there's ways to address those and put those back where they belong. Because everything, I was just throwing up in the air, trying to manage everything instead of saying, okay, wait, these are the main important things. And if I address those, I'm successful. Everything else can slow down. There's certain things way more in life.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's something we do at the beginning of the program. We have a system that we run you through to get clear on core values. And so much of that guilt and pain and suffering that comes from reacting to the discomfort of the PMDD symptoms comes because we're not in alignment with those values, right? And we feel the pain of that because, like, for example, let me just paint the picture. It's like, if family is a core value and then I'm getting grumpy and yelling at people in my family, I'm going to feel a lot more guilt and shame about that because the symptom made me grumpy and then made me go against my core value than if it were, something not influencing my ability to show up for my core values. So that's a huge foundation in the program. I'm wondering, like, you had tried so much before, right? You said various medications, various different approaches. What made you want to take this type of approach that we do in the program?
Well, first of all, I just don't like a lot of medicines. I don't like getting that. Obviously, they didn't even work for me. It didn't change the fact that I'm still tired. Yeah, it made me a little less emotional, like my emotions took it down a notch. But well, first of all, I saw social media is amazing in some ways, right? Because I don't know anybody with PMDD. I've never talked to anybody with PMDD. I talk to girls that become really raging during their period, but I still don't resonate with that. I'm emotional and I'm tired. So, but to a degree that most people will not understand when, where you can't function so tired. So I've never met anybody who ever experienced that. So when I saw you and you had some severe things that you actually threw out there, and I was like, I can relate to that. And so somebody might know me, somebody might see me, and somebody looks like their life's together. Two of the best that we can, right? We're not picture perfect, but like they look like they've been fighting it and they won. Whatever they did, they're happy, like with themselves, not with the outside factors of what's going on in and out of the day, but like with themselves, they're happy and they're confident in themselves, and they don't let people pick them apart because they're confident and they manage. And so, like I said, I was at low to low, like the lowest I could be. And to see somebody who could see me, like would maybe be like, yeah, I've been there and this is how I fought that battle, or this is what I did. It drew me in. And like, I crave that, right? Because when you see somebody who's struggling with you, but they're on the other side, like I want to follow that person. And I've never had anybody to follow, but a doctor to tell me, here, try this, pop this. Ignore everything else. Just see if this numbs you a little bit. I don't want to be numb. And I don't want to be a slave to medication. Like, I want to learn to live and be happy. It's not like I have some serious illness. I have something that's very manageable. But it can look crazy when it's ignored. But if somebody else can do it, I'm a fighter and I knew I could do it. I just have that in me. If somebody else can do it, I know that I can do it. I just never been seen or shown the way to do it. But if you give me the tools, I'll do my best. Might not be perfect, but I will fight with what I have to give. And so I think that's why seeing somebody who had tools, I was like, I want those tools and I want to see what that looks like. And I got to see somebody else share their story. And that's why I wanted to share my story, because if I could help somebody get to the side I'm on, which is not always perfect, but it is so much better. And there's so much happiness in it and acceptance and just respect for myself. I have so much more respect for myself for the effort that I put in for myself. And you can't say that when you don't have tools or nobody to show you or guide you. You know, it's a lot of medical stuff involved too, you know, blood work and trying to dig deep. You can't just say, today I'm going to have energy. It just doesn't work.
Yeah. Oh, we're both crying already. Oh my goodness. Jamie, your story is so inspiring, and to see you step into that confidence and this new way of being is just like such a beautiful thing to witness the whole journey. It's been such an honor, and you really are, your story and your personality, such an inspiration, and the hope that is available to women out there, right? Like, but it can feel like you've tried everything. It can feel like there's no way I could get there. But you had that knowing, you had that driving force of like, if she can do it, I can do it. Like, help me get there. And that understanding too of the body is communicating to you that something is wrong. A pill that masks the symptoms isn't addressing what the body is trying to tell you. And boy, did we uncover a lot of juicy nuggets of what the body was trying to tell you. So I'm curious, like going into the program, it's new. It's something you hadn't tried before. You know, I'm a stranger on the internet that you had never met up until that point in person like this. So what were some fears that you had going into the program?
When I saw you, there was really no fears. Like, I was at rock bottom. I've tried everything else. And to see somebody who was more my type, more getting down to the roots of the issue, not just masking it, was just drew me in. The only thing, I mean, I saw your story and I heard other people, but sometimes you just don't know if they'll actually be dealing with the things that I deal with, because I've never met anybody. So do these people understand exactly how tired I am? Do they understand the roller coaster that I live on? Do they understand what it's like to be picked apart by other people and feel like you're just so misunderstood? Like, my heart is to serve people. And so when you tell me I'm lazy or that, it's just, I was so misunderstood by so many people. So the only sad thing was like, am I going to get misunderstood again? Are people just going to try to put rainbows all around, like, happiness and read a book and magically things will disappear? And if you just smile enough, you'll be happy. Like, I needed somebody who would get down and to the nitty gritty and understand where I come from and what I've been through, and that it's not me doing it, that it's my body's doing this to me, and I just feel like I'm fighting myself half the month. So that was the only fears that, like, I was just like, would somebody please just understand me and like work with me through what I can fix? Because like I said, you go to the doctor, like, oh, you have PMDD, great, here's some birth control. Oh, that didn't work, try some of this medication. It's like, okay, but I still feel so misunderstood. I still feel so lost, because this is not numbing everything. It's like, I mean, maybe I don't cry as much, but like that doesn't seem healthy either. And then I'm like, can I have more? They're like, we don't want to numb you. I'm like, well, nothing. Like, this is like, what am I, like, I'm not fixing anything. I'm seeing how numb, but can I make it before I'm too numb? Like, that's pretty much what I was kind of told. But that fear got pushed to the side really fast. But that was probably my only thing when I clicked the button to talk to you. Like, this is my last hope. Like, I'm at rock bottom. Can this work? But once I talked to you, I realized, like, you really do understand it. Like, there are people, and when you say PMDD, they actually know what that means. And they know what the severity of your life looks like with it without understanding your cycle.
Yeah. I mean, all practitioners are valuable and have so much to offer, but there's something about working with a practitioner who's been through what you've been through that's very different. all of the material, all of the education, all of the protocols, right, are built out of the lived experience, which was created, right? Because I went through it and I'm like, this is what we need. So
Yeah,
here we go.
nobody can explain things to me. Nobody would be like, this is, this is completely normal. Here, help, let me, here, these are some tools. Or there was nothing. It was just because they haven't gone through it. And honestly, if you haven't gone through it, I know you can try your best to understand it. But to me, it's like, I need somebody who knows what I've been through and knows that, you know, it's it's not going to be perfect still. Like, don't expect perfection. Nobody's life like perfection is perfect, and there are life factors that come up and down, and you can't mix all that into PMDD. You have to understand that you live in a hard, like, life's hard for people, and you go through moments of happiness, you go through moments of really hard times, and those you have to navigate with PMD. That is not always PMDD or that what you're going through. And so you just need somebody to help you clear things up. And unless that's why I found you so valuable. Not only are you helping, like, looking into my stuff, actually researching what's going on in my body. Nobody ever took blood work. Nobody ever saw, hey, like, you might have these symptoms, but they're really revved up because this is what your body's asking for. This is what you're lacking. This is what you need. Or that's huge because there's so many pieces to the puzzle that make it a solid where I can actually function. Yeah, I'm tired this day, but I slept and so I'm good and I'm on all my vitamins. I'm taking this, I'm exercising, I'm trying all these things. And when my body needed something, you do a lot of exercises that I've copied. And you do them when we all meet up at the end. There's just a lot of different things that add up that somebody with PMD can know the value of putting it all together and not just trying one thing. Because it's such a complicated thing because our bodies need more than we're probably giving it anyways because we're not really I'm not educated on nutrition and I'm a vegetarian, and that makes it twice as hard because I'm not even looking at protein.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's such a big, like, you have to look at the big picture of all these different things coming together.
Yeah.
If I was just to work on one thing, I don't think I'd be as happy as I am right now.
Yeah. Yeah, we really have to take the comprehensive look with, coming at it from different angles. And I love what you said about, like, we learn through the program how to contextualize what's PMDD, what's not, how to orient within your symptom experience. And that really, I mean, there's all these footholds along the way that just give you a grip back on yourself, on understanding what's going on. And, with the lab testing that we ran, specifically the blood labs, even if you would have gone to a practitioner and even if they would have ran all of the labs that we ran, which they would not have ran, absolutely would not have ran, so many of your markers were still within conventional ranges. So again, you would have likely just been told everything is fine and normal, but we know you're sensitive. We know that the trauma and some of the longer standing dietary factors have been building up over time. We also know you're more sensitive because you live with PMDD. So you're going to be more sensitive to things that are out of the optimal range, even if they're not diagnosable by conventional standards. And there was so much that we uncovered with your food and mood journal, with your lab testing, and that's before we even get to targeting symptom patterns and working on your patterns of reaction and your escalation cycles. There's just so much. And I think it's so important to point that out. I really appreciate you pointing that out because I think that's where so many women end up hopeless. They're like, well, I tried the supplement. Well, I tried this medication. Well, I, cut gluten out. So nothing works for me. And it's like, whoa. Those are great. All those things that you did. But there's so much more to managing and reducing symptoms over the long term that you're probably missing, probably tons of rocks that have not been overturned or puzzle pieces that have not been clicked into place. So there is absolutely hope that these symptoms can get better for you. And let's move into that. So as you moved through the program and we built in these footholds stage after stage, what started to change for you symptom wise?
Well, on some of our calls, I'd be like, okay, wait, my question time. This is what's going on. Why does this happen? And they were big problems. A lot I said in the beginning was to do with sleep. So I would tell you, like, during this time, I would focus on things so crazy and I would just go in my mind, and we'd work on so many different things to help with that, whether it's some other vitamins or whatever I was taking for that. And then also different, like, hey, if your body's doing this, we did so many things and exercises I could do to calm my body down. I don't have, it's not perfect, and it's not always not every month, but like lately, I can't remember the last time I laid in bed and my mind wouldn't shut off like that, where I was just constantly waking up from dreams about the same subject and constantly doing that. Because I brought it up to you, which I couldn't have done to any, like, just if I went to my doctor, like, hey, this is constantly coming up. Okay, I did this. Now, how can I fix this? And then talking about it and saying, hey, this is sometimes why that's like that. Or when in your cycle is that happening? Can we point that out? And so then that was huge for me. So certain things were happening on different parts of my cycle that I thought were supposed to happen at a different spot. And I was like, oh, it's happening then. That's why it keeps catching me off guard, because I thought it was always supposed to happen. I wasn't tracking it right, and I wasn't paying attention. So when you can know when things are coming, it's like I plan around that, and I can live better like that, because I'm like, oh, that's the time where I'm a little bit, you know, all over the place in my mind, or I'm extra tired. So do not plan things like that. And it changes your life, because I'm not having to fight what my body's doing to go do all these plans I made a month ago. I know all those PMDD moods, like, oh, somebody canceled plans, woohoo! Like, you know what I mean? Because I feel that, but now I just don't make those plans so that I'm happy and content. It's just really nice to do that. And then, um, can you ask that again?
Yeah,
So that I got off track.
So I was asking what has changed as you moved through the program with your symptoms, with your quality of life, any changes, and that one change of recognizing your specific pattern and being able to kind of modify around it is huge. What else did you see? What else has changed?
The major things that's changed is that as I worked through it, I gained so much respect for myself, and that you can't just get. That is something that you earn for yourself, and somebody can't take that away. In my opinion, I've never had a lot of, like, I love the person I've tried to be, that I have worked to be. But when it came to this, it's like that was so out of my control that it was frustrating. I'm like, I worked so much this part of the month to be this person, and I work hard, and all of a sudden I can't keep control my life in this part. So you lose a little respect for yourself when you feel like you've lost control of your life. So I don't feel like I have no control over my life. I map my cycle. I know exactly when things should be popping up, or these might be the days that you're tired, and they come. And it's like, no problem. I'm going to relax, and I'm going to give my body a break. And then everything's reduced. Because once I sleep and I'm kind to myself, everything else can be managed. It's when you fight that and you're angry with your body and you don't give it what it needs, and then everything becomes crazier. And then if you don't track it, you feel like it's always coming. And that's a lie too. It's not always there. It's once a month and it's on time. But it just feels like it's always there. So knowing that, you're like, okay, my body is not that crazy. It is my cycle, and just allow it to happen. Allow your body to do what it's doing. It's not fighting you. It's just asking for certain things. And it's just happier. And like with my kids, they know, hey, I'm just extra tired these days. And guess what? I don't feel guilty. I sleep. I let them do certain crafts or whatnot. My kids are older, so it's easier. And I am a new person when that wears off. And I'm happy because I gave myself what I needed, and I called myself important. And their needs are important, but I have sometimes my needs come first those days so that all your needs can be met. I can't meet needs when I have no energy. And so that's life changing as a mom. I'm a single mom. And so I need to be able to do the things I need to have done. And I need to be able to plan their days out and their weeks out. But I was struggling to do that. And I was crying through it. And then I felt lazy. And they would be like, Mom, why are you so lazy? You have no idea how much I do. Like, they're kids, they don't know, but it still cuts you deep, because you're like, yeah, I am. Like, why am I like this? But now it doesn't offend me. I'm like, yeah, they're kids. They don't understand that, like, 3 days I'm tired of a month. Like, that's what they see. That's what they're not used to it. And so they call it out, which is fine. I don't take offense to it. But I did before, because I was like, yeah, why am I? But so I think there's just a lot of things are not as wild and crazy in my head anymore. Everything is calm. It's on schedule. The needs are usually the same during the month. And if I meet them and I say, okay, you can have what you want, my rest of the month is great. Like, and it's not a sad thing. It's really not. I used to think it was like so unfortunate that I had this, but it's caused me to get to know myself, to have respect for myself, to give my body what it needs, and to value that like my body is giving me life and supporting my kids' life, and that it's something to be valued. And I like exercise. I've done sports my whole life, so I always felt guilty prioritizing myself like that, but I do now, and my kids love going, and I sleep better too. It all mixes together and makes it such a happier life, and I think my kids are a lot happier because I my stresses and my frustration with myself is gone, which is huge. Your kids feel that. Everybody, your friends feel it. But when you have at peace with yourself, you bring peace to others. And I wasn't doing that. I was bringing chaos and like sadness when I was around people because I was so boggled down with just not being able to just not being enough for anybody or myself. And I think that's huge. Like the gift of peace is a huge gift that you can give yourself if you just say I'm important, so are you, but like if I'm not taken care of, you will not be taken care of. I think that was the biggest gift. If I didn't come to you, I would still be hating on myself, which is so nasty. I'm like, people are mean enough. Like I always tell my kids, like the main thing you need to do is to be nice to yourself or nobody else will be. Like you have to be kind to yourself. The world is cruel. Like at least you be kind. Like we do not hate on ourselves. And I'm like, I need to do that. Like I'm not being kind to myself. And so I think that they're learning now. I can actually be an example. Like, no, I'm kind to myself. I take care of myself. Like it's important. I want to be that example for my kids. I don't want to watch them get run down by themselves and people. Honestly, it's just making your life more quality. So I'm not sad about it anymore. I was so frustrated and angry about it when I came to you and like, why is this happening? But now it's like, it's okay. Like I can handle it. Like this is actually a gift because my life is more balanced because of it now. I would not have researched all this stuff. I would not have learned what kindness to yourself looks like and what it doesn't look like. I just think there's so much to come from hard times if you can get to the other side. And you're proud, like you always are more proud of yourself from getting there.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much to being able to start to see things on the page, whether it be your symptom assessment, whether it be your symptom mapping data, whether it be the various lab test data that we pull. It really starts to create a boundary between I'm broken and something is wrong with me, and there's legitimate physiological things happening in my body and needs that aren't being met that are leading to me feeling this way. And it really can start to pull you away from all of that self-abuse that's perpetuating this constant damage control cycle of acting out and then feeling guilt and feeling shame about it and then trying to recover from that and then starting over and then 2 weeks go by and then here we are again in the same cycle on repetition.
You know what's crazy though is some of your the beginning courses that I took with you, I did not know there was 4 phases of a cycle. Like I did not know so much stuff, and knowledge is power. And listening to your things, I'm like, oh wow, there's 4 phases. I thought it was just all one chaotic mess. Like there's just so much to those courses, like you were saying, how you all those pieces. But I forget all the stuff that I've learned and how I built on it. But when I go back, I'm like, wow, yeah, I didn't even know what the luteal phase was.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
I
that
didn't know there was names.
foundation.
How did I because how am I a woman? I'm 35 years old. I didn't know there was I didn't know what they were called. I didn't know there was 4 phases. How do I not know? How do I not know this? How do I
Yeah.
not know that our body does different things in different times of the month and it's all this like it keeps happening over and over? I did not know that. And so like where I'm at is because of a lot of knowledge. How you were saying the test, but even just the base knowledge, not even just my stuff, but like listening to your courses on just the female anatomy is wild. The
Yeah.
things we don't know is wild. Well, I'm saying most people, the women I've talked to about it, I'm like, did you know that? And they're like, no. I'm like, oh my gosh, why
Yeah.
don't we know?
I know it's criminal. It's criminal, but like you're saying, like that foundational education is so key as well. And something that you said that really is standing out to me is like, it's so hard for us to prioritize our needs, especially as mothers, daughters, wives. Like we put our roles often, whatever it is, even our career, above everything else. before ourselves. And it's really hard to prioritize yourself. It's really hard to say, I'm going to invest time, energy, and finances into a program like this. But to see you coming out of it being like, now I get to model this for my children. Now I get to share this information with them so they don't grow up and be 35 years old and not know anything about female anatomy and physiology. You know, it's such a gift that PMDD, I mean, I love that you said it. I don't know if you said it was a gift, but you said something to that degree, and it just shows how far you've come, because how offended would you have been if you came to our first session? I'm like, actually, Jamie, this is a gift. You'd be like, cancel. How do I get a refund from this situation? Like, never talk to me again.
At me. Because I'm about to throw something.
Yeah.
Telling me it's a gift as a yeah. But yeah, that's how I feel about it. When you like, I've learned so much and I feel so empowered and I'm happy and I'm like, things are in control. I think that's when PMDD, when you are at rock bottom, you have no control over anything. And that is a scary place to be, because you're like, I want to be this person, but I cannot even control myself enough to be that person half the month. Like, that's a scary feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now to have enough control, but I say it all like that it was like this smooth little journey, but it took a lot of knowledge from you. And it took a lot of like pinpointing hey, Jess, this is what I'm dealing with this week or this month. Can you help me figure out why does this happen? Or you really have to kind of like, there's so much that you help uncover, not only knowing the basis of what my body's doing, but like the knowledge that you, like when I said, hey, this is happening, you're like, okay, let's try this. Let's get to the root cause of this problem. Let's see what your labs say. Let's see what this all, and to like look in it and dig deep. And then my problems, I think we laughed about it. The last question I asked you, I can't remember, but I'm like, these questions are so silly now. We've dug so deep into so many of the issues that are like top of mind, that now like we've worked through so many. Now I have like these little things I'm just randomly asking you because I've noticed smaller things now, and it's fun to see like the big problems start fading away, and I get it to nitpick at the littler details of what I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
That was like a really neat moment. I think we laughed about it. I'm like, why am I even asking this? This is so trivial compared to like the big things we've been digging in. And it's nice to get to that place where the big problems, you've fought a lot of those battles, and they're not in the forefront of when I've gotten those down. Like those are under control now. I've worked so hard on those. And like I think I've told you before, like I'm somebody who has to master things one thing at a time. And you allowed that to happen. Like, okay, we're working on this. Okay, I was like, okay, Jess, I got that down. I can add.
Yeah.
But I need it to become my routine. I need it to become my life. And so I like how we can just keep adding things. It's not like you pour everything out and say, go for it. It's steps. Okay, we're going to figure out this issue. Okay, what's the biggest thing you're dealing with? Like you said, your main problems. And that was helpful, because I think we get overwhelmed easy, right? We can't even, like when we're at the point where we're like, we can't handle life right now. To pick out one thing and just you like shut down all the chaos in my mind and make one thing a problem. Not a bajillion. We're not fighting a million battles right away. We're fighting the bigger ones that are going to lead to helping the others, which really helps somebody with a chaotic mind of life. So that was really nice. And so now at the end of it, I have routines in place. It's just normal. I wasn't overwhelmed with everything you gave me. It was very doable, manageable, and you could see the benefit that would help. Okay, I want to do this because this is my issue and this could help. Mm-hmm. And so there was just more value when it really hits home to your specific need. And so I like that. I have things in place. Like, it's just my normal routine. And it's beautiful. I just get very overwhelmed with lots of things really fast. And not knowing if that was what helped, or does this even help? Why am I even doing this? Even with my supplements, I asked you, can you just tell me why I'm taking each one? I need to know importance of things. Yeah. And then it encourages me to do things. But you were kind enough to like understand, like I would tell you, like, I need to know these things. Can you write it? And you wrote it all out. Yeah. This is why you'll benefit from it. So then in my head, it's like, I want to, because if this is something I need, okay, you're important. It's not just throwing it out there and not knowing what anything's for. And it's just, the chaos is turned off very fast and I would come to you and be like, I don't know. And you'd be like, it's okay. You just
Yeah.
tone things down really a lot, and so it's easy to have wins when you're not trying to fight 80 battles at once.
Yeah.
I think that's why I have all these small wins that added up to being such a huge victory, because it was a process, and it's neat to see all the little wins become something big.
Yeah. Well, it's so rare that we have someone in our corner to that degree. Like you're saying, take this medication. End of story. Like there's rarely even
Mm-hmm.
cost benefit analysis talked about, or risks or things to look out for and monitor with adverse side effects, right? There's like nothing. There's your provider probably gets 15 minutes with you if you're lucky, on many occasions. So, and then because I know the overwhelm that we live with PMDD, right? The program is designed and we're continually honing and tweaking that to be better and better. But you rarely have someone in your corner in that way who's like breaking everything down and giving you the motivation. Because so many of the women in our program are just like me. I want to know exactly if I'm taking something, why? What could the benefits that I'm looking out for be? How does this tie into my lab results? Like, how long am I taking it? All of that information we draft for you. We give you, it's not overwhelming, but like if you care about your body, you want that information, and that creates adherence to the protocols. And then as we're building things in, we build things in one thing at a time, because if there's any adverse effect, we want to know which thing it was. If anything is helping, we want to know which thing it was. Also, it's too overwhelming to implement too many things at once, So we have to really have a methodical approach to that. And I'm so glad to hear that that was like something that was so meaningful for you as you went through the different phases of the program and saw those benefits. But I want to get in a little bit too, like just to the nitty gritty of symptom reduction, because when you came to us, you said that you were experiencing symptoms for at least, you were estimating at least 10 days of the month. And then, of course, you were mapping symptoms. So we looked at your mapping data, and that's what we saw: 10 days of moderate to severe symptoms every month in leading into the program. When you graduated, we did an analysis of your data, and you reported only 3 days of moderate to severe symptoms. So over 50%, massive symptom reduction from 10 days to 3 days. What symptoms did you see the biggest changes in? And I love this question because when we were talking, we were in like our fourth session. You're like, oh, well, I don't really have that symptom anymore. So can we now talk about this like much more menial symptom? And we were just laughing. And I love that so much that you brought that up. But what symptoms did we see those shifts in?
Um, the main one started with sleep. We did a lot of work on that. There was a lot of different reasons I wasn't sleeping. Different times of the month why there was no sleep. There was just so much. There was so much to do with sleep, and so many different things that we picked apart in my sleeping problems and why I'm not sleeping, and the time, yeah, like how it affected the time of the month why I wasn't sleeping. Um, I don't really battle that anymore. Like my sleep is pretty darn good, but that has to do with all the supplements I'm taking too, because my blood results needed a lot of help. I mean, my blood work showed my body needed a lot of different things, and um, that helped a lot, I think. But not only that, and I'm exercising gives me sleep, like helps me need to go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then it is just wild because I can't even really remember. All I remember too is like one day I was like, I fixate on things like crazy. I mean, that was like a common theme. And then I would miss sleep for nights and have to go to work in the morning and then still have to come home, do lunches, dinner, and then soccer. And then I'd be running ragged. And then no wonder you have 10 days of symptoms and then I wasn't even taking care of myself when I was really tired. Those weren't even the days that I was super tired. Those were the days where my brain was just racing like crazy. So leading up to my really tired days, I was getting no sleep. And then I wasn't giving myself any sleep during those other days because I wasn't preparing or planning for them or knowing when they were even going to come. And it was like just chaos because then I'm tired, then I'm grumpy. So like the sleep, now I'm like, oh, I sleep pretty good. When? What? Like I give myself more sleep on those 3 days and that's about it. But it took there's different pieces. It wasn't like some
Right.
magic thing that caused all that. I would tell you one thing, okay, we'd fix that part of like, I remember telling you, helping me calm those thoughts down and tools to do that if they do pop up. But I
Mm-hmm.
also think a lot of the success happened after we took a peek into my blood work. I think that had some stuff to do with it. So different phases, my sleep improved different ways. And like I said too, exercise wore me out too, because I'm just somebody who needs exercise. I feel so much better too with that. And so having all these things come together, my sleep is pretty terrific. Like I also go to bed early because I feel rested. Um, I mean, I sleep pretty darn well. I just went through my cycle and like I don't remember not sleeping. If anything, I go to bed earlier and I sleep better. It's just the extra 3 days now are those days that I'm talking about that are rough are just the days that I lay in bed all day. And I know that sounds like depressing or whatever, but it's just my body's literally exhausted and I'm just doing what it needs. And it might look weird to somebody else, but like I'm perky and happy like the next whole section of all the other month, like I'm happy as could be. It looks different to people, but like I don't care anymore. And I give my body those 3 days and I call it good and I can function now.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
just all those in together, like respecting your body too. It's like, it's not just one thing, but that was the biggest thing. And now it's one of the smallest problems I have.
yeah. Well, it's like the sleep was then, like you said, the anxiety, the sleep were kind of tied together. And then that was leading to irritability and anger, being on edge, right? It was this, and then you were too tired to exercise. So that wasn't even on the table. So as your sleep got improved, your fatigue got improved, and then you were able to start moving more. And, there's some significant stuff in your blood work. So as we continue to work on your nutrient stores, we expect those 3 days to continue to improve. But these things take time. But to see in a really relatively short period of time after decades of dealing with this to go down from 10 days to 3 days of symptoms, and then in your symptom burden report, you started out with a symptom burden of 531 points, and we brought that down to 389 points. Of course, we're still working on that, but like you had a 142-point symptom reduction. So many metrics, that including with your mapping data showing the symptom duration and severity reduction, is huge. And that the work isn't done. Like you said, this is now your lifestyle. This is now a big part of your main priority is caring for yourself, showing up for yourself. So as you continue that over time with these targeted protocols that we have in place for you, those will improve as well. But so much of it is like your mindset, is your realigning with your priorities, being nicer to yourself, right? It really just builds, kind of crescendos into, like you said, a big quality of life change. So I'm wondering, how do you feel about me reading some of your quotes? Just
Oh,
to
I don't
kind
know
of
what they are, but go for it.
Okay,
You
okay.
probably make me laugh.
Yeah, yeah. So by our third session, it was our third session, not our fourth, you said sleep is not my main issue anymore. So that was only a month and a half into the program. Then you said I'm going to the gym during luteal. In our fourth session, you said I'm in the week before my period and I feel fine. You said I'm not in bed all day. I feel good about myself. The ugliness is gone.
How cool is it that though? Like I'm crying now because I'm so happy that all this happened. And then before I was crying because I was like falling apart. It's like I think it's so important that people find the right people to support them, right? Like in anything in life, like if you find the right people, you can win a lot more battle. Like just finding you was such a gift, and that's why I'm not usually on social media a lot, but I saw somebody else's story, and that's like I want to tell mine. Like I want to say me too. Like it it helps. Like there's like this is real life stuff that you can work on. Um, it's just exciting. It's exciting to feel like I won something. Because you don't know what you're going to win. You're like, okay, if my life gets a little better, it'll all be worth it. But when you're like, wow, like I'm blown away of how confident I am in myself and who I am. And like, I joke about it. I'm like, oh, sorry, my mind's a little bit off today. Like, I just am not thinking straight. And I laugh. I'm like, I've lost my water bottle 3 times. I've ordered my Starbucks drink wrong twice. And it's like funny. I'm like, it is that time of the month. Like, give myself some grace and laugh at it. Like, it's just it's a happier thing. You're like, yeah, that's just sometimes I'm not focused. Instead of being like, I just don't like, I'm this and I'm that, and people say this about me, and I'm called it. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's just such a happy feeling, and I hope that anybody who's in a dark moment can find some kind of light. Because I'm just thankful I'm not in such a dark place for no reason. Like, I did not bring it upon myself. I did not do anything to anybody to deserve to be in such a dark place because my body's asking me to do things that I'm not giving it.
Yeah.
Or my body's in need of things and I just don't have the right people to help me find that. It's very hard to find somebody, like you said, a practitioner that just doesn't just sit down with you and talk about all your stuff. What's going on and how these problems, like you said, you get 15 minutes and they prescribe you something, which can help some people, but I needed somebody in my, like, to walk through life with me and stages with me. And so how neat is it to find somebody who's been there, done that? I'm not the first person you've talked to. I'm not the first person you help. Like, there's actually results seen. Like, and to have confidence in walking into somebody like, okay, like, she gets it.
Mm.
It's huge for somebody in the dark. And I've been on one of the meetings with all the girls that are starting to pop up, and like they're in the beginning, and I was like crying. I'm like, girl, like, you, like, I feel bad for them, but I'm like, you're in such a good place. Like, you found it. Like, you found hope. Like, that's where we all were. Like, we all started there. But it's so, like, if I was in the beginning too, you just feel so, like, I'm not sure, but like being on the other side, watching people come and start it, like people who are just starting, you're like, oh gosh, you're good. You found a safe place, and we're all here. And like, there's stages, and there's so many women in different stages, and you can just see like the glow that they start to have because they're not living in that darkness anymore. It's just really, really neat because I'm at the end of it and I'm talking to women at the beginning of it. I'm like, oh, I get it. Just because I seem like I have a little bit together does not mean that I have not had my pieces all over the place, you know?
Yeah, the community is huge. Our community calls are so fantastic to get you all in a room together and get to share your insights and
Who knows anybody with, I don't know any women with this, nobody, half the people don't even know they have it. If they do, they just are called, you know, it is so neat to have I thought that was so neat. I signed up right away, just because I don't want to lose connection with where I came from and how I am, and help people and people help me, and just feel like I belong somewhere. Um, because as women, yeah, you can all say, yeah, I'm PMSing, and we all try like a community together, and like women can build up each other, but it's like nobody understands. Like, actually, like, mine's to a different level of yours.
yeah, I know. It's the PMDD room is very different than the societal, like, yeah,
Good
I'm
women
PMSing.
and really neat women. Like,
Yeah, such wonderful clients we have.
I really liked that.
Yeah, we have so much more of those coming up. So I have more quotes. I can't like just breeze past these. We have to read these. So in our fifth session, you said, I don't feel like I can ever get that low again, knowing what I know now. You said, I feel like a whole different human than when I started with you. You said, I'm happy again. I feel strong. I actually love the protocols. Then in our sixth session, you said, the world isn't crashing down on me anymore. And in our next session, you said, my kids no longer feel like mom's crazy. You said, I'm nicer to myself. I'm nicer to my family. My body is happy. And then in our last session, you said, I'm so much more at peace. You said, it used to feel like such a monster, and now I feel like it's really turned around. You said, I'm not carrying the guilt and shame anymore. You said, I feel like I'm just one of the girls now, not the crazy girl. You said, I feel like I can love myself like someone who doesn't have PMDD, and I'm not on a roller coaster anymore.
For sure. It's not a monster anymore. It's something that's helping me keep my life balanced.
So those quotes just like, oh, dagger to the heart, like just so beautiful to hear. So I'm wondering as we wrap up here, like you, again, I can't say it enough. Your story is so inspiring. Like you're providing so much hope to the community, to those other women who are out there still feeling hopeless, feeling like they're suffering. There's no way out. What do you want them to know, being where you are now?
Well, I am a single mom. I work. I take care of my kids most of the time. And so a lot of time we feel like our world's falling so apart. We don't have the time. I don't have the energy. I can't even do what I have in front of me. But you can. Like, you can. You have to. You have to prioritize yourself to get out of that nightmare, and you deserve to get out of that nightmare. But you have to slow down, like you said, and like prioritize. So you're worth it. You do have the time. You have to make the time, or you're going to live in a nightmare, which you don't belong in. And so make the time, get connected, and do the work. And the crazy thing is, I think women with PMDD would do the work. We're probably the hardest working people you can find when our energy's right. So it's not. I think if anything, we are the women that can face it. Like, no problem. You just give us the right tools and look at our blood work and look at what's going on inside us and help us out. Like, we'll make it happen. And women need to, if it resonates to somebody, they need to give it a shot. They need to try it. You cannot live in a nightmare. You do not deserve it. You get one life to live. You need to figure out how to not find everybody else's needs more important than yours. Yeah. Your life's important too. You get one life, and it deserves to be good. And you can. Like, that's the crazy thing is that we just didn't know that we could. But so I think if that's my a message to anybody, is just that's not you. You don't deserve it, and you just need some extra knowledge and some help that we've never gotten for some weird reason. So I hope somebody will take the chance to do it. And it's not like it takes a long time. It's not like you have this huge thing, and it's not like, oh my gosh, I am so boggled down by trying to do this program. It's not that. You just see your light slowly get better and better from smaller things that you choose to do. And so it's doable. Like I said, I'm by myself. I run my house. I work, and I have animals. I have it all too. Like, there's just no excuse not to love yourself and to find resources that will make your quality of life better, your relationships better.
Yes, you can do it. That's such a good takeaway. You're worth it, and your life is worth it, and it can get better. Thank you so much, Jamie. Thank you so, so much for being here, for inviting me into your PMDD experience and your healing journey. Like, it's been such an honor and such a joy to witness the transformation that you've undergone that is still continuing to play out. And thanks for sharing your story. I know this is going to give so many women in our community hope who are needing it so badly right now.
Well, thank you for leading me through it, because I needed a leader, and I found you to be a sweet, soft leader who deserves to lead people, not somebody you're very sweet in the way you lead. And we all need that kind of love, and somebody who we can trust, that is intelligent and does the research. You're very qualified to lead us.
Well, thank you, Jamie. Thank you.
All right.